Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to FTB Sports. It's the LFC versus Fulham post-match reaction show. I'm going to try and review what I've just watched, which is absolutely diabolical. 6 losses on the bounce at home. Pitchforks are being sharpened, and it's inexplicable. Before I get into things, it's just myself today, but it's okay. Before I fully get into things, I wanna do the housekeeping. So as you know, we'd like you to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share this with everyone if you can, which would be great. Usually I've got my 2 sidekicks with me. I've got Pato and usually Stoney, but unfortunately they're unable to be here, but the show must go on. So I limp on alone. So I'm going to be expecting a lot of audience interaction today. And I'm going to get a chance to do what I like best, which is talk about my team. So let's go. So lineup was the starting point today. So let's have a look. What were the thoughts on the lineup? My thoughts on the lineup were I was stunned. I can't lie. I was stunned when I saw the lineup. Thought to myself, how have we got Nico Williams at right back? How have we got Reece Williams at centre back and Phillips next to him? Bearing in mind that Phillips is a guy that we were about to sell at the beginning of the season. He actually packed his bags. He probably sold his house in Liverpool. My man had booked his train ticket and his flight ticket to Neverland or wherever else he was going. He was on his way out, right? That's where we are today. That we're playing a man like that in centre-back next to Reece. That being said, I'm not having a go, right? Because I thought, actually, these guys tried hard. They've done quite well. But they're obviously not Gomez. They're not Matip. And they're not Virgil van Dijk, right? So here is what it is. And then I guess the only person in that line out that made any kind of sense was Robertson. And then let's go to the midfield. Lovely to see Naby Keita back in a red shirt. I think Naby's a fantastic player. We've been denied his talents for far too long. So it was really, really glad to see him. And I actually thought he had a decent game today. I thought he didn't play too badly. And then in there we had Milner and we also had Gini Wijnaldum starting in that midfield. So not a bad midfield. And then up front was where I was totally stunned. Shaqiri on the left, Jota on the left, Jota the shotter. On the right-hand side, we got man like Big Shaq. And then straight down the middle, we got Salah, who apparently, according to everyone, throwing his toys out of the pram and is sulking right now because he got subbed off the other day. But I think actually what probably happened was a bit of an explanation as to why he got subbed off the other day. He was subbed off probably in light of the fact that he was going to have to play 90 minutes now, bearing in mind that we've probably got coming up in the next few weeks, we've got 4 games in the space of 11 days. Anyway, look, people are going to be, giving it all of that. No problem. Let's get to it. So, was I expecting a stellar performance? I wouldn't say I was, given that lineup. Was I expecting what I saw in the first half? Absolutely not. That was not in the plans. That was not what I was expecting to see from my team. I thought that Fulham were absolutely brilliant. But do you know what? I expected that. I felt like Fulham have been quite good they've been very, very good over the last few months, at least a month. They've been very decent. They've given people a lot of difficult games. They haven't lost games because they've played badly. There's been an element of misfortune in them losing games and an inability to hold on to a lead. That's what's cost them. So I was never under an impression that this was a standard 3 points going into this game. I thought it was going to be difficult. Given our form and the way that we're playing right now, I expected it to be a very difficult game, right? So that was expected. But to lose in the manner that we did, I can't be happy with that as a fan. I can't be happy with that. It is what it is. We lost the game and, I'm hurting. I know a lot of LFC fans are hurting. I know right now on social media it's going mad. There's going to be a lot of emotional reactions, and football's an emotional game. So for me personally, I found a way to balance it where I love my club and I do get affected by whether they win or not. But I know that there's more important things in my life going on other than football. So I'm not gonna slip my wrists, pardon the pun, because we lost the game to Fulham and it's 6 on the bounce. I personally am zen about how things are because I understand in my mind I have justifiable reasons as to why we are where we are. Now, a lot of other fans don't agree with me and they're going to at me on my socials or at me in the comments, and so be it. Anyway, before we go on to the next segment of the show where, I kind of do what I do, first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who's logged in right now, who's, viewing. I know a lot of them are rival fans, people I know who are waiting with comments for me. So without further ado, let's get straight into that. I'll do it. Let's go. Let me take these comments and let's go with it. Oh, a personal favorite, Zakai's Forbes. He's probably waiting before I went live, but let's go. Hi, this is your favorite person. He knew it. Just turn in to see how you guys are doing and to check that your face. Yeah, well, my face is my face, man. It don't change. So, yes, Zacchaeus, welcome to the show. Thanks for logging in and staying loyal and being consistent. Thank you very much. I write in every show to say the gung-ho has burnt out the players. When will you accept this truth? So let me ask you a question, Zacchaeus Forbes. Are you saying that the gung-ho has burnt out the players that are not playing right now or the players that are playing right now? Because Nico Williams didn't play in hardly last season. So is he burnt out from being gung-ho? Reece Williams didn't play last season. So is he burnt out? Is Alisson burnt out from standing in the goal? Maybe I could accept that about Robertson, perhaps. Is Milner burnt out? Gini Wijnaldum, maybe. Naby Keita, is he burnt out? He's been injured quite a lot and hasn't played that many games. So I'm not really sure where you're going with this. Is Shaqiri burnt out? Is Shaqiri burnt out? Shaqiri played enough games for you to say that he's burnt out. So I don't get it. Like, Jota joined us this season. So is he burnt out as well? Like, I'm confused, bro. I'm confused. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, is that a valid question? Personally, I don't think it is. But, you've been banging on about it every week so far. So I fully expected it this week as well. Dynamic Productions. Yes. How you doing, my brother? The pitchforks are right to be sharpened. You've hit such high standards and the drop is alarming. Good afternoon, by the way. Yes, good afternoon to you. Thanks for logging in. Pitchforks are right to be sharpened. I think if you are a person who's not a Liverpool fan, that's the first thing. Quite rightly, you want to banter us. You've waited 3 years for this opportunity. So yes, sharpen your pitchforks. If you are the media, well, we know what the media do, right? We know what the media do. It's like, this is what the media is there for. It's clickbaity stuff. They are going to say what they need to say about us because obviously they're there to create hyperbole, clickbait, get their articles read and start like viral things. That's what they're there to do. So I can accept that. If you're a Liverpool fan losing your mind, let me speak to you directly. I don't associate with you. I don't. Yeah? You're entitled and you're spoiled, right? If you're a Liverpool fan and you're watching this and you're reading the media and you're getting hyped because rival fans are getting at you, you're not like me. You're not like me. I don't care about rival fans. Let's put it out there. I don't care. Like, the banter doesn't mean anything to me. I got my own eyes. I got my own understanding of what's going on. It's not a mystery why we're where we are. It's not a mystery why the performances we're seeing are happening, right? What's going on right now is like a car with 2 wheels trying to race other cars in a race. That's what's happening. We're driving a car with 2 wheels instead of 4 right now. That's what's going on, right? And if you're a Liverpool fan, you can't see that. I can't help you. I can't help you. I can't help you. If you're one of these dumb Liverpool fans that's out there right now talking about Klopp out, Klopp this, Klopp that, step that way. Step that way. Ain't got time for you. Step out of it, right? If you're a Liverpool fan who's like, we got man like Reece Williams and Phillips in there, we should still be beating Fulham. Step that way. Reece Williams is not ready for this situation, but we're forced to play him, right? If you're one of those Liverpool fans that right now can't take the banter from your brethren, and that's causing you to say mad things like Klopp out or sell all the players or rare tear, you're not with me. So go about your business, right? This might not be the show for you. You might want to subscribe somewhere else. I don't know, because I'm not down with you. I'm not down with that, right? So in terms of Dynamic Productions' comments, the pitchforks are right to be sharpened. Well, yes, depending who you are. I expect that from the media. I expect it from rival fans. But if you're an LFC fan and this is what you're shouting right now, I haven't got time for you. I really don't. I've had to mute myself out of a couple groups this week for the next week or so, because I know there's going to be a lot of nonsense being spoken. I ain't got time for it. Aslan Mirza, I think it was the Sun. All right, mate. Don't know what that means, but thanks for the comment anyway. Appreciate that. Keep listening in. Thank you. Why aren't you scoring goals? How do you explain this? Now, that is a good question. That is an excellent question. So I'm going to try to explain from my perspective why we're not scoring goals right now, right? When Liverpool FC play with our first team, so when I'm talking about we've got man like Van Dijk in the defense. We've got man like Matip or Gomez in the defense. You got man like Fabinho in the midfield. You got man like Henderson on the right. You got man like Wijnaldum, Milner, whoever else on the left, right? Here's what happens. Matip, Van Dijk, Gomez, they sit on the halfway line, right? Our wing backs are playing as wingers in the other half, right? Matip, Van Dijk, Gomez, they're like this. We're ready to go toe-to-toe with any attacker, right? We're playing here. This is our line, and we're not dropping. If you want to try and slip a ball in behind and have us spin and go for a little race, we're down. We could take that. We'll do that. We'll race you. If you want to try and play it over the top, we will test you in the same way, right? We'll win that header, or we'll recover and we'll get that ball back. If you want to try and get into a physical tussle, you want to try and spin me, or you want to try and roll me, or you want to try and do some skills in a 1v1 situation and beat me to get at the goal, I'm ready to go 1v1 with you. And more times than not, right, the Liverpool centre-back wins the ball back and is able to distribute it. Furthermore, let's get to the midfield. You've got a man like Fabinho in there, who you can argue with me is arguably one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, right? He's in that closing man down, locking down the counter, putting out fires, looking at where the ball's about to get played and making interceptions, getting that pass and starting an attack again. You've got a man like Henderson doing the same thing. People might not rate Hendo, right? But Hendo is in there closing down, harassing man. So when a team gets the ball, it gets turned over and they try and play it through to get into an attacking situation, more times than not, one, they get stopped at source, or it's a situation where they're playing a pass under pressure, which means that pass is a degraded pass. So that means the chances of us recovering the ball are very high, right? That is why right now we're not scoring goals as much, because we're in a situation where we're winning the ball back later than we normally do, not as quickly as we normally do, right? We're pressing in the same way, but we're covering more of a gap, which means there's more gaps for teams to play the ball through, right, and get on the counter, which means as well that when our attackers get the ball, they're further away from the goal in a situation where they've got to beat more people, and more times than not, you've got two banks of four. Or when it's Man United, you've got a 5 and a 4, yeah? And maybe the striker in there. You might even have a 5 and a 5, because that's how United play when they play top teams. Yeah. So Zacchaeus, I've tried to break it down for you. I hope you can understand that. I know you're not going to agree, but that's how I see it. I watch my team regular, so I can see I can see what's going on here. We're playing. There's not many Van Dijks out there. There's not many Matips out there. Phillips and Reece Williams are not Van Dijk and Matip. So therefore, they can't play that way. They can't play that way. So the spaces that we're pressing in are a lot higher, which means that the turnovers are deeper rather than higher up in order for us to hit you on the break or play the way that we play. All right? That's my explanation. If you agree with me, make a comment. If you don't agree with me, make a comment. Let me know what your own thoughts are, because that is a really good question. Thank you, my man Zacchaeus Forbes, for that. On to the next one. I'm not even going to bother with that nonsense. Klopp out. Oh, mate. Like, yeah. I guess it's banter. So if you want to bring banter to the show, you can. But Klopp out after a season where he just won the league. Just won the World Club Championship as well, and the Champions League before that. Like, Klopp out. Are you for real? You must be a rival fan, because you would love Klopp out. You would love for Klopp to be out. Guarantee it. You would love for Klopp to be out. It's not happening, bro. It's not going to happen. Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. Because I'll tell you what. Here's how you know that this is nonsense, right? If Klopp left Liverpool tomorrow, we sacked Klopp tomorrow, he could walk into any Premiership team the following day. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Arsenal would snap your hands off for him. Man United with dead Ole at the wheel would be begging for Klopp right now. They begged for Klopp before he became our manager. They would still be begging for him right now. You understand? Perhaps the only team that might not want him right now, because they got a decent manager, is probably Man City. Right? Manchester City would not probably want Klopp right now. Maybe. But apart from that, I can say categorically right now, I don't think there's a job out there in the world that Klopp wouldn't get. So if you're part of this Klopp out stupidity, allow it. Miss me with that. Miss me with that, right? Only sensible comments on this show. Thank you very much. I spent far too much time on that. 5 points ahead of Arsenal. Yep. We're 5 points ahead of Arsenal. What? Yeah? We can all agree that Liverpool's having a terrible season. Liverpool's having the worst season that you could possibly imagine. Whatever, I continuously say, we are in a maelstrom of misery this season. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong, right? But we're still 5 points ahead of Arsenal. I end my case right there, right? I end it right there. Still 5 points ahead of Arsenal. End of it. End. The end. All right? Mr. B, thank you very much, my friend, for your comment. All your eggs in Champions League basket, looking like you've given up on even fourth place. I could see why you would say that, actually, with the lineup that we selected today. I would. I don't know if we've given up on fourth place. I don't know if I would say that. What I would say, though, is we might be prioritizing Champions League over the league at this point. Because if you win the Champions League, guess what? You're back in it. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a fair comment. It's a fair comment. I don't think we are, but I could see how people might reckon that we are. I definitely can. Can you finally see comparisons with Klopp's 7-year decline at Dortmund and Mainz after 7? They're burnt out. Mate, bruv, I love you, yeah, no homo. I love you and all of that, but you're sounding like a broken record, bruv. It's the same every single week. And I don't know how many more ways I can explain it and break it down for you. But you know what? You're caught in a loop cycle with that. So I'm just going to allow you. I'm going to leave it. I've put the comment up, so it's not that I'm ignoring you, but I'm tired of saying and repeating myself. It's all good. Liverpool is blue. Yeah. All right, Carl. Liverpool is blue. Is that the same way that North London is Spurs? Is that the same way? I don't understand how these guys keep bringing banter to me. Your team is Arsenal, bro. Like, we're having the worst possible season, and you're still back there behind us, right? And you're talking about Liverpool is blue. Bruv, behave yourself. Behave yourself, right? Go and be the best team in your postcode area, right? Go and win your postcode war, and then bring it to me on my show, all right? Bring it to me on my show after you are established as a top club in your postcode ends. After that, we can have a debate. But right now, I haven't got time for it. And I'm not having it from you. I'm not. Milner's been a loyal servant to Liverpool, but it's time for him to be removed on. Hopefully he'll get and move to Leeds where he can finish his career. That's a fair shout. I think Milner will have to move on eventually at some point. I think he's been an amazing servant to the club. I think his professionalism, his ability to play so many different roles, and his lead by example qualities for younger players coming through the squad, we have to give it to him. We have to give it to him. I think that, yeah, it is, you know, it is testament to him. If he could finish his career at Leeds, I think that would be a dream come true for him. But yeah, I'm not really sure if right now is the time for us to be having that conversation. We got more important things to worry about. Guess what? Zakai's forms. And guess what? It's a burnout question again. I can't be bothered, mate. I'm done. Gold medal for the Tom Daly dive in the first half from Salah. Yeah, okay, mate. On to the next one. Well, let's just hide that one because it's a bit rude. Not really sure who that is or what they're saying. But thank you very much for your comment. You be bottom half of the table. Okay, enough chit chat. On with the banter. Okay. Murder on Merseyside. Right. Yeah. Okay. So I can see that there's a few people who are just on here to troll and send abuse. The Crop Out Brigade is getting louder. Yeah, you're right, Michael Balogun. Thank you for the comment. Thanks for logging on. Appreciate it. The Crop Out Brigade. Yeah. Like I said, it's like looking at a car. I'm taking this from Paul Tompkins. He's one of the renowned writers for LFC. He writes the Tompkin Times. So credit to you, Paul. I read all of your stuff. I think you've got a very good grasp on things. And yeah, his comment was that it's like looking at a car with only two wheels and wondering why it's suddenly not going as fast as it should. That's exactly what it is. And for me, if there are Liverpool fans out there that don't get that, I cannot help them. I can't help them. And I'm going to insult a few people by saying this, but for me, I've always been told, and you know this because Dad used to, you don't argue with a fool. Because from a distance, if you're arguing with a fool from a distance, people can't tell who the fool is. So I'm not bothered. Like, if there are Liverpool fans and that they think that, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think that the results would be the same if we had our full contingency of players right now? Do you think the scores would be the same? Answer that question, right? On top of that, Klopp out, right? Your Klopp out. And I'd actually be interested in seeing what comments I get off the back of this. If we get rid of Klopp, who do you bring in? And I can see already there's going to be some dum-dums out there that are going to be like Steven Gerrard. Bring in Steven Gerrard because he just won the league in flipping in Scotland. Bring Gerrard in. That's what I'm going to be hearing. Bring Gerrard in. But guess what? I can guarantee you after a season, those same people will be the same people that will be saying Gerrard out. That will be saying Gerrard out. Because you think Klopp can't handle what's going on. You think Steven Gerrard could. Like, leave it out. Like, if you're Klopp out, I'm not interested. Like, do what you got to do. Do what you like to do. The Liverpool reaction shows clickbait. Okay. Do you think Van Dijk can come back and be the same player after injury? It's a good question, Dynamic Productions. Well, you know what? We've got state-of-the-art medical staff and medical facilities at the club. I know that FSG and LFC will be doing their hardest to ensure this man comes back in the same or condition or as close to as possible. It's difficult to answer that because it was a serious injury, so I'm not going to take anything for granted. I'm not going to take anything for granted at all. I would answer that by saying I hope so. I pray for that. I hope that he does come back as the same player after his injuries, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Solo7, thank you for your comments on the show. Good afternoon. Fulham deserved victory. Not sure what's going on with Liverpool front three this season, but they do not look the same. So first of all, we can be agreed Fulham deserved the victory for their first half performance. I don't particularly think they did much in the second half, but in the first half, I will give them that. I will concede that on that performance, they deserved it, right? Not sure what's going on with Liverpool's front three. So are you talking about today's front three or the general front three? Because today's front three wasn't the same as the regular front three. So I'm not sure which way you're going with that. It was a makeshift front three, a new front three today against Fulham. Did it perform? I thought they huffed and puffed, but as I've already explained earlier on in the show, I have reasons that I believe we're not functioning in the way that we normally would as an offensive unit. But, let me know why do you think they don't look the same? What are your thoughts on it? Why do you think? Are you like Zacchaeus Forbes and on this burnout? That's what you're talking about. Is that what it is? Interesting. So yeah, let's go on to the next bit. More questions coming in. It's flooding in today. Let's have a look. Dynamic Productions is okay. So he's obviously not a Liverpool fan. I think he's a Man United fan. Of course, I take Klopp. I'm not foolish. He made Liverpool relevant in the league after 30 years. Yeah, seems a lot of people have forgotten that. So it is what it is. Thank you, Charles. Thank you for your comment. I just call it as I see it. I fully accept that there are a lot of Liverpool fans out there that don't see it the same way as I do, that are on the throwing their toys at the pram and woe is me right now and in misery over what is going on. And I hazard a guess, that a lot of that has got to do with the banter that they're receiving from rival fans right now. They can't take it and they're hurting. And it's painful to see your team losing week in, week out at home. So, yeah, I get why they feel that way. But I just, after a while feeling upset, I try to understand why things are happening. And for me, you don't have to go too far to know why our team's performing the way it is. Charles thinks that Van Dijk will come back because he had the same injury on his opposite knee. And it's not like 5 years ago. It was like 5 years ago. So, fair point. Fair point. Carl Bartlett thinks that Arsenal having the worst season known to man, and we're on a title defense. Okay. So have you had 8 to 12 players at your first team selection squad out at a given time? Have you had that? Not sure you have. Have you had your manager's mother pass away or been ill, about to pass away, and he couldn't go there? I don't think you've had that. Have you had your goalkeeper's parent die in a horrible way and had to deal with that? No, I don't think you have. So have you got like 5 centre-backs at any given time? No, I'm not sure that you have. In the last 3 years, have you played as many games as we've played? No, I don't think you have. So when you're saying that you've had the worst season known to man and youth, and we're on a title defense, what does being on a title defense mean? What relevance is that? What, because you're on a title defense, all of a sudden all these things don't matter? I don't get your point, bro. Like, what is your point? What is your point? Bro, furthermore, man, you're Banter FC Arsenal. What are you doing? Like, your team is the original Banter FC. Like, how are you trying to bring it to me on my show? Are you mad? Like, bro, behave yourself. Seriously, behave yourself, right? Don't get me on one. Don't get me on one. Yes, Fulham did deserve the win. We changed the first half, so we'll have to change our style of play. The whole side was makeshift. Charles, apparently none of these things matter, bruv. None of these things matter because we're LFC and we're on a title defense. So that means we've got some God-given right to win every game. Michael Balogun, I think the team is suffering from severe lack of confidence with bad form. Chelsea had the same problem. Yeah, I think that comes into it as well. I actually think that is just a side issue. I think the lack of form is one thing. But the fact of the matter is, when Klopp came in and inherited this team, the squad was poor. We made investments in critical positions in the team because we needed to improve those positions. A lot of the players that were brought in and a lot of our top members of our squad have been unable to play together this season. So how can you expect the same results when it's not the same elite team? I'm confused by that. Maybe someone can explain it to me in a fashion that I can understand, because I don't get it. Solo 7 again. Looking at the players, especially Salah, he doesn't look happy at all. And any fan who says to sack Klopp don't know anything about football. I agree with you on the sacking Klopp issue. On the Salah not looking happy at all, I think that comments have been made about Salah not looking happy since the day he got here. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Like, what is he meant to be doing? Skinning teeth when we've just lost 6 games in a row at home? Like, what is he meant to be just happy about it? Like, he should just be glad. Oh, well, we lost, and skip off the pitch smiling. Is that what you expect? I personally don't. So all of this, Salah doesn't look happy, Salah and Mane are beefing, all of these ridiculous things that are being touted by the media, it's just ridiculous. Please be intelligent enough to see beyond it. Like, Salah and Mane, people saying that they don't get on, right? So what? They got on for the last 3 years when we was killing it, but all of a sudden this season they don't get on anymore. Like, leave it out. Like, please allow it. Like, please, like, miss me with them silly comments. Like, okay, let's try and take it on board. Let's try and take it on board. Where's your evidence? Where is your evidence? Where is your evidence to this? Yeah? Please explain to me where it is. Yeah? Charles Williams, way I look at it, these views are a compliment. Absolutely, they are. Why? Because they hold LFC at higher regards than their own clubs and other clubs in the league before. Charles, you've absolutely nailed it, my friend. You've absolutely nailed it. Like, the level of expectation for Liverpool is beyond anything I've ever seen. And that's a compliment. You're slyly complimenting us. The fact that you expect us to still be challenging for the league, given what we're going through this season, says a lot. It says a lot. Like, you rate us. You secretly rate us. And that goes for you as well, Carl. You secretly rate us more than you rate your own team. That is what it is. That's what you're telling me. That's all right. I can accept that. Like, it's a backhanded compliment, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Oh my God, our players are happy. Why would they be happy about losing? This is my exact point too. This is my exact point too. Anyway, I've dealt with the questions that have come in. What can I say? What can I say? Another loss at Anfield. But is Anfield actually the Anfield right now without the fans? I hazard a guess that it isn't. The pitch is the same. The vibes is not the same. For some reason, teams seem to be able to come to Anfield at the moment, nick a goal and get a result. And we seem not to be able to respond. That is a concern, but there's clear reasons as to why it's happening. And this season is what it is. Personally, I hope that the management, the owners don't knee-jerk like some of our fans are knee-jerking and throwing toys out of the pram. I'm hearing talk about sell the whole team. I'm hearing talk about changing up the system. Yep, the same system that delivered all the success that we had, which we're unable to employ in the same way that we always have done because we haven't got the same players in there. I don't know. So, you know what I mean? It's like we've got an elite first team. We all accept that, but the squad is obviously not strong enough. So how are you expecting an elite team performance from a not elite team at the moment? The team sheets that we're putting out are not the same elite team sheets that we had when we was killing things, but you still expect the same results. Baffling. You know, I don't really know much to say about that. And it's funny because people talk about burnout, they talk about what happened at Dortmund and stuff like that. But there was an article recently by the director at Dortmund, I think it's Zorc, and he said we made a mistake when we let Klopp go. We made a mistake. We should have changed all of the players rather than change Klopp. And for me personally, I don't think we need to throw the baby out with the bathwater and change up the whole team right now. I think let's make that judgment when the whole team's back. And if the performances remain the same at that point, then you could be having that conversation. And one thing I definitely 100% advocate for is you ain't getting rid of Klopp. Getting rid of Klopp is suicide. Suicide. I know that rival fans will call for it because it would make them so happy. It would make them so happy, so joyful, because their lives have been bitter and full of misery since the day that Klopp got here. They've not enjoyed Klopp's tenure at Liverpool. Why? Because it's meant success for us. So obviously they're going to advocate for Klopp to go. It makes sense. I get it. It's another backhanded compliment. You're concerned about Klopp at Liverpool. That's why you're all about Klopp go. It's the same reasons when Klopp came, you were Klopp the flop and Klopp this, that, and the other till he shut you all up. He shut you all up, and now you can't say that no more, right? But now you're having a little bit of joy. You know, we're having a terrible season, and despite the fact that there are reasons for it, you call it excuses, I call it reasons. There are reasons for why we're where we are. Despite all of that, you want to now start shouting Klopp out and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, all right, mate. All right. Anyway, look, on that note, there's a game on right now that I'd like to see whether United are parking the bus again, because I know that's what they like to do against other top opponents. I'm going to go and watch that now. I'm not happy my team lost, but on to the next one. And I'm not a fan for a day. I'm not a fan for a month. I'm a fan for life, right? So that means whether my team win, loses, or draw, I'm still here. And I'm here every day. So with that, peace out. Love and respect to all the listeners, everyone who's logged on today. Appreciate you. It was a short and sweet one today, just like me. And I'll catch you on the other side. Take care. Stitches out.